Alright, let's do the silver fumed latticino that will become the tendrils on our jellyfish. We're going to start off with a big chunk of silver. We'll heat it up, and then just off the edge of it we will fume onto some 8mm rod. And I'm not rotating the glass rod like I would normally rotate it when heating or putting it in the flame. I just want to fume one side of that round rod. There we go. Now take a little bit of gold. You can see a little tiny dot of gold. That's all it takes for quite a few of these right there on the end of that rod. And we'll heavily gold fume the same side. We have a little bit of silver and a little bit of gold. There we go. You can see we've got a little bit more fume on one side than the other, and the side with the most fuming is going to be folded over in the center on itself so that those two sides are in contact with each other. So we'll add a handle and then heat it very quickly right in the center, allowing us to fold it over. There we go. Just nice even half. And then we'll add a 6 or 7mm handle to that right side. Just going up to a bigger handle there because it'll be a little easier to control that weld. There we go. And kind of smooth that together. Then we'll move over to the other side and remove one of those 4mm handles, and the other one we will connect to both ends of that folded over 8mm rod. There we go. It's now touching both and keeping them from falling apart, and we can now heat either end. So reinforcing that connection a little bit, building up some thickness to it. Then I'm going to straighten out this handle on the right side that went a little wonky. There we go. Now we're straight. So when heating this together, we are going to heat the edges, but not in the center where they're touching, for two reasons. Most important reason being that little valley, that little trough between the two will redirect the flame, and it can shoot a foot or more out to the side and give you a pretty bad burn. So be aware of the tunneling ability of flame when you're shooting it through something like that. Once it's spun up like this and rounded together, you don't have that risk anymore because it doesn't have that little channel. So this has only got about half a dozen twists to it, and it's pretty thick. We are going to heat that up and do it again and marver it so that we have a little bit longer, a little bit tighter twist, and that the outside surface is absolutely smooth. There we go. Put lots of heat to it. Get it all molten at once, and then we'll marver it, and it'll be a uniform thickness and uniform twist at that point, and ready for our final pull. There we go. And the marvering also helps to chill it, get it down in temperature quickly so that we can begin applying a new heat base. There we go. Now we'll start over on the left side of our spiral section and put some heat to it. And when I begin doing this pull, this time while twisting, instead of both hands going in the same direction at slightly different speeds, my left hand is actually going backwards compared to the right hand. As I pull it out into a very thin section like this, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have a very tight spiral. But by rotating them opposite directions, we come up with a very tight, elegant spiral. There we go. It's done. All that's left is to cut it into a few little smaller pieces to make it a little easier to use. That's actually quite a bit of latticino there. That's more than enough for one jellyfish. That's probably enough for 4 or 5. Pick off a little section here. That'll be about as much as I need to do one of these. And then we have extra. So there we go. That's it. That's how you do a little silver fumed latticino real quick. And looking forward to the next step where we put all this together and make a big jellyfish. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe.